Do you still see me?
Yeah, I can
Oh,
see you. I just started the recording
oh,
and that's why.
oh, okay. And I literally, I'm just like, okay. I was like, let me take a break. I was like, let me go to iTalk Guy, and I see a message. You're like, should we get started? And I'm like, I got 13, 14 minutes. I was like, let me see what's going on. And I look back and I see on the calendar, it's like lesson starts now. I'm like,
It's
so
okay.
I'm so
Happens.
my dad would be very disappointed right now. So 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 the first thing is how's the day been going? I know it's early in the morning. So
Yeah, the day has hardly started. I can see the I stay in the like ninth floor and I can see outside and all I see is fog and no activity at all.
everybody's still getting up. But I mean, the main thing is, I mean, got some good rest. You're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And all right, I mean, as everything, I'm literally all I've been doing is just going over the information for today. So I just find it
Good.
funny that I would miss this. But the main thing is, I want to be sure. Were you able to? Did you see the questions I left?
Yes.
Okay. So I wasn't at first. I was like, should I put them on both platforms? I wasn't sure, but I was like, well, I'll put it on iTalk. I'll put it on Skype, and hopefully that'll come. So we
Yeah,
can.
Skype is always good with me.
It's good. Okay. I'm not always on Skype, but I check it every now and then, pretty much on a daily basis. And because I have another student who uses a lot.
Okay.
And so, but no, this is good. Okay, we're gonna dive right in. This doesn't affect anything or time or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and get into it here. So let me make sure I have all the all the questions and
Um,
everything.
Also, when I answer, can you just note down the words that I mispronounce or maybe the grammatical errors that I make and just you know just look at the like overview of the answer and provide some help like some suggestions how I can improve the answer.
Absolutely. Let me grab my piece of paper, and because it's actually easier for me to write it than to type it while we're doing this.
Mhm.
And so yeah, no, we can definitely get that going. Now, obviously, it will. I have three questions as you saw for each one. I had additional ones, but I felt three was appropriate. And so to tell me about yourself, I know we talked about it a little bit, but I felt this one was so important. I was fluctuating with that question for a little bit, because I originally had another question in replacement of this one, but I felt that because it tell me about yourself was really it's your whole, is who you are,
Yeah,
and because you're talking about yourself and about how things have worked, that I felt that that was going to really be the core of how everything else would flow. So I really wanted that to be that first question of the day. Um, so, all right. So, well, let me ask before we begin. I mean, do you have any questions at all about the questions that were here or anything like that?
no, those are good questions, I would say. And
Okay.
I already have prepared answers to many of them.
All right. Yeah, I was kind of curious. I was like, I was like, is Krishna getting up early or? But I was like, you said you wanted the questions, so I was like, let me make sure I go ahead and pass them to you. So, what we can do is, I can pretend like I am the hiring manager. Just practice, and obviously I'll listen to
Yeah,
everything you're
definitely
saying.
pretend.
So, I mean, do you want me to like be in that moment and ask you like, hey, so Krishna, tell me a little bit about yourself, and do you want to go in that way? What would be or I can give an example. So, I mean, you have to let me know the best way you would like to go about it, and we'll just go with that flow, whatever you feel works best for you.
Well, I would say just trust me, like do whatever HR is gonna do. I want to be
Okay.
prepared for that moment.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to mix up the questions here. I'm going to keep them in order, because
Mm-hmm.
it was for the first half and the second half. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and begin. And all right. So Krishna, so first, let's go ahead. I'm glad you're having a great day. I know you woke up early, and let's go ahead and begin. So I'm very curious if you wouldn't mind telling me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so well, I'm Krishna Kumar Patel, and I have graduated in chemical engineering, and currently I'm pursuing masters in chemical engineering also. And as a person, I would describe myself as friendly, energetic, fun-loving, and someone who has a hunger for learning and implementing the knowledge. And I can give a few examples. For example, why am I friendly? So I would say Well, I have made a lot of friends. Recently, I made a friend when I went out for a tea with my one of friend, Sunny, and I met his friend actually, and I offered him something, and that's where we started to bond, and then we had dinner outside a couple of days ago. And Another example would be I my friendship is not it's not limited to the university or college. I have friends in different countries also through the internet. And why am I fun loving? Well, whatever I do, I try to find out fun in it. Like uh, so um, Also I have hunger for learning, so I'm gonna kind of mix these two answers. So
Okay.
when I watch whatever I watch, I try to have it like comedy genre so that I can have fun, relieve stress, and at the same time, I find something that can help me learn new things, new words maybe, or the way language is used. So that's why I actually have watched many times Big Bang Theory, and I keep watching Trevor Noah. Which is, yeah, I love what I love about him is his energy level, and the way he uses language and the words, and the accent that he does, it's just so good.
All right.
Yeah, that's I guess that's about me.
All right. So we got some things going here. We can definitely make this work. Now, the one thing is, and linking all this. So when they're going to ask you about, tell me a little bit about yourself, what we want to do, we may be able to keep some of this information in. What we want to do is really incorporate a part of you in terms of now, because you're a college student, we still want to relate it to the company in some capacity, and in terms of like what you're doing right now. So it's like right now, we want to relate a little bit to like what you're doing right now in college, and then what got you into the moment. So we want to kind of you're you're not wrong when I ask you to tell me about you,
Mm-hmm.
but that's more of me as a friend or a stranger, like really wanting to get to know you. In
Yes.
this case, so so the question you're giving is not bad so at all. The thing is that we want to utilize the question for the job interview. So in
Mm-hmm.
this case here, we want to make sure that it's connecting to the actual job in some capacity. So, because I mean, if you want to get to like the things that motivate you or get you going, like that's different, and it would still be related to work, but you could those things where you could add in the being with the friends and having lunch, having dinner, or watching Trevor Noah, that it those things that get you going and kind of relieve stress or makes you excited. So those things you could put into like the motivation piece. And but here, when that hiring manager is asking you to tell me a little bit about yourself, we want to
Mm-hmm.
incorporate a piece of really what's going on currently. So we want the present portion of you. So, the chemical engineering student,
Mm-hmm.
and like giving a like brief piece about that. And then we want to kind of bring it into the past. And this can always be flipped, but the main thing is your present circumstances, what got you there, and then you want to then bring it into the future, which is then related to the company in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you a quick example. So this would be if so let's say like if it's for film. So I went to Fulton University in Winter Park, Florida. So if I'm going back to like early in the 2000s, then this would be, as someone who just this is just a quick example. So, as someone who is in a film major, most people will look at it and say, well, these are just students who are figuring themselves out. I had the pleasure of knowing at a very young age, at the moment when my father had Alien 3 and Terminator 2 Judgment Day on a laser disc. And for those who may
Mm-hmm.
not know, it's this giant disc that looks like a CD. And from that point on, I didn't realize that the seed had been planted for what would eventually become a field of knowledge in which I would begin to love film more and more. And that gave me the opportunity to then branch myself into college, which I'm very grateful for. But then it was also that ability to keep learning, to keep educating myself, to want to know more, to know the mentors of the people that I admire and who they admire from the early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, that is the ability that has given me the ability to want to then expand my own skill sets, my knowledge into other companies where I can be a benefit myself. So it's like that. You're implementing where you are currently to you're then taking a little bit of your past. What got you here? Because they want to know. You're a chemical engineer. So, you know, they may, I'm assuming they, let's never assume. Let's never assume. It's the worst thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the hiring manager, they may or may not know. So it's best not to even assume anything. So I'm coming from X university, you know, as someone who's come from this location, and then how it all began. A very brief summary. And then we bring it into the future of what you're wanting to do. I'm wanting to right now have the opportunity where I can branch out and use my skill set or my career to help other companies to do such and such. You know, where do you see it going? And then tying it into the company that you're working for. So, so does it make sense? So let me
Yeah, a
a
little
little
bit.
bit. Okay. Let's look at it this way. So look at it this way. We're just going to say the it's kind of like a beginning, middle, and end. So we're looking right now at where you are currently. So where are you right now?
Uh,
Okay. And then the next piece is we're going to go back into the past, what led to that moment. And then
mm-hmm.
the next portion is we're then taking it to the future. And that's where we want to piece everything together. So
Okay.
so take your time. We're gonna I'm gonna make sure you're set before we move on. So that's why everything's it's adjusted accordingly. So we got it.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm Krishna Kumar Patel, and I am a graduate in chemical engineering. I'm pursuing my master's, and I wanted to be a chemical engineer or a physics engineer. Actually, I had passion for chemistry as well as for physics, and I tried my best to get into both of one of these, and I actually got one, chemical engineering. So I'm here right now, and I want to use my skills as a chemical engineer to help make people believe in themselves, And L'Oreal offers me the great opportunity to deliver something and create something that truly brings people that happiness, and that makes me happy.
Okay. That was that was much better. That was actually that was yeah, because that's saying a lot in short, very little words, but I know where you're coming from. Now, I would ask you in write too fast, sometimes hard to and because you said and believe in themselves. So I would almost want to know a little bit more when you mention that. So I like the fact here that you talk about people believing themselves and creating and building something here that makes people happy. I love that. So the next thing is because we know where you're coming from. I will now. I'm not going. I want to do it this way. So I want to make sure that we have exactly what you would want to say down. Pretty much, let's say like 90%. So I know you're going to rewatch this. So you're
Yeah.
going to hear it yourself. So I'm only going to it's best not to tweak or say too many things to correct at this one point, only because I want you to stay in this moment. I can give a little bit of things, and but I right now I want you to just be in the moment. I really want to make sure you're not thinking about too much of what I'm saying correct here or there. I want you to just kind of be in the moment, see what flows out, and then we can work from that.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see here. I'm going to do my best so we can keep everything within a certain time frame, but I need to make sure that you feel confident in what you're saying, but then also, like I said, it's at least 90% ready to present. So it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be 100, but it's close
Mm-hmm.
enough that when this is over, you can work on it. You can work on it from right there. And so the so we got the physics and the chemistry. So you said you got into the one and
Yeah.
and and then so that's where you went with the chemical engineering. So I want to be sure. Were you saying that the one for physics, you didn't get that one? Is that what you were saying?
No, I got the one, the chemical engineering.
Okay, so you got the one for chemical engineering and the one what happened with the physics?
Yeah, actually, did not have that much score which I must have had to get
Mhm.
into physics engineering. So yeah, both of these were my preferences, and I became a chemical engineer.
Okay. Nope, nope, nope. That's what I wanted to know. Now, you you don't even have to dive deep into that. I wanted to know for my purpose in case it could help flesh out a couple of things. And it's always good to go deeper with these questions. And
Hmm.
so there are a couple of things here. Okay, so we got, and I kind of do like that here that you're saying, okay, I had the option of either going with with either going to the physics or with
Hmm.
the chemistry, and I was able to dive into the chemical engineering aspect. Now,
Yes.
from right there, what led to that moment? What led take the physics out of it for a second. What inspired you to become a chemical engineer?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, the first thing that we used to do at our home, when we get up, is brushing our teeth. And I always wondered what makes this toothpaste a toothpaste. Something that really does its magic. And it's not just the toothpaste that motivated me. Everything that we did in our lives, I see every chemical product and I wonder what's in it and what makes it, happen. So that's what kind of actually gave me that drive to become a chemical engineer.
Got it. That's it. Okay. And yeah, now we're getting into it. The more defined you become, the more I can tell. Looking at you, I was like, okay, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so that's the piece. So we've got the beginning. We've got the university student and where you are here. But then what led to that moment, that is the piece that's going to really resonate right there. So obviously the beginning portion of who you are, obviously the name, and then the student of the
Mm-hmm.
university at the institute. And from there, what led to that moment, a father or the family moment, where we all brush our teeth. That is a relatable moment because we all can brush our
Yeah.
teeth. And then you're saying, I'm wondering what's in it. And then you're saying, huh, I've thought about what's in it, but I never even looked into it. Because most people ask themselves, what is in
Yeah.
it? Because you can't actually swallow. And I'm going to keep this short, but you can't swallow the toothpaste. Obviously, people say it's not good for you, so you never do. But then you're saying, huh, why can't I swallow the toothpaste? But you decide to go deeper into it, and then you're saying, I started to look at other chemical products and wonder, was it, say, what was in it, or what's applied into it, how it works. And that was what you're saying, what drives you into the chemical engineering. Like that right there, that says a lot. That's what's going to be. So that is the piece. That's what you want to keep. So that's
Yeah.
because that's whether it's over the phone or it's virtual, and you want to keep that piece. And then so let's breathe here. So this is the past. So the past piece about the family brushing the teeth and what led to that moment of wondering what was in it, and then this fascination with chemical products, how it works, what's in it, and then that led to the specific word you used was drive in the chemical engineering. And now we can relate it to the process of okay, we could then forge that into the company. So that's where let me see, and that's where that drive is. So that drive with the chemical engineering, which you then so we want to then forge that at the very end because we've got the present, we have the past, and now we want to bring it into the future. So the driving the chemical engineering is kind of bringing it back into the present, and then
Mm-hmm.
we want to tie it to some part of the future where that drive you had for chemical engineering and the it's the drive, but then there's a word I'm looking for, but it's the intrigue, um, there's an enthusiasm. There's a word I'm looking for. It's not coming yet, but it's a specific word that you're looking for. That that's what keeps you going. It's the idea of knowing what's in it, how it works, the structure behind it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why you want to be. And how that works with L'Oreal, that's going to be for you to kind of tweak with there a little bit in terms of how their company works, because that's where it's like, would their company be any different than any other company? So that's where it doesn't have to be too specific, but that's where you can say something in relation to it, where you're wanting to then branch out. That curiosity, that's what it is, the curiosity behind chemical products and what can be made, and bringing that to the forefront where I can work with companies that allow you to experiment and come up with ideas that can help make the company better, or help the company come up with new ideas that haven't been thought of yet, things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
where I can then present my ideas. The same thing that brought me curiosity as a kid is the same thing that I hold today as an adult. And that drive for chemical engineering now is that same drive and curiosity that I want to bring to companies. And that's what I do, but to also share those ideas where the companies are willing to listen to what I have to say. So not only can we better the products, but we can also better the service of the company, things like that. So I'm tweaking the ending, but the
Uh-huh.
ending can be placed based on how you want it. So what I'm wanting to do is incorporate it in alignment with you. So that's why it takes a moment, because I'm wanting to make sure there's some connection there. But if you take the very opening of who you are, where
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very basic: the name, location, student here, such and such, and what has led to this moment. And you can even say, have you had a moment you're brushing your teeth with your mom, your dad, or just you brush your teeth in general? But the main thing is that moment of family brushing their teeth, and then almost thinking as a kid, you ever kind of wondered what was in toothpaste? Because I did. And that is the moment where you're saying that was when my curiosity hit. And that curiosity went from my childhood into my adulthood. And every time I looked at a product, I was driven with curiosity. And that curiosity was the very thing that led me to this moment here, into the chemical engineering, and the ideas that I've learned, and the ways in which wondering how they work and how they're developed, and being able to see and work with companies that are willing to listen to what I have to say, but then also me being able to take information in so I can grow myself, where we can better
Yeah.
each other. That is what I'm looking for. And you don't have to say that's what I'm looking for, but that's that's where I see myself going. And so things like that. But it's the moment of intrigue where you bring everything right back around to the
Mm-hmm.
moment of where you're going to be, or how you see things going, where I'm able to work with a company where we work with each other, where I'm able to show my ideas and things that can improve them, while they also give back to me and show me ways to improve myself. So,
Yeah,
so
that makes definitely sense actually. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to tweak a little bit on my future, like what I'm gonna be talking about in the future, and make sure that it is somehow related to my past.
Now here's the thing. Now, I know you're gonna watch this video again, so everything that, and if I'm talking too fast, let me know.
No,
It's
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 totally fine.
it's really fun. It's really exciting to have these moments, because it's very exciting for me, and I see your journey from what you've just said, and that's why it's exciting, because I can relate to it. And also, it's like Disney. Just about everyone can relate to a Disney film, because there's something about it, about family, that mostly everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
And what you have done was create a moment that everyone can relate to, and they sense it. We've all had something that we admire, we appreciate, and we've all had curiosity. We all have curiosity, and especially as kids. But your curiosity transcended from that moment of being a kid, and then to seeing all different products and wondering, that then led to the chemical engineering degree, which then led to the drive of saying, man, I want to bring to the forefront my ideas, my curiosity, to a company that's willing to listen to me, but then also share with me their own ideas and their own inspirations, so I can also grow myself. And that way, you can maybe use some engineering terminology there, like some cool combustion of, some awesome display. Something that really, you don't have to do that, but something where everything comes together and it's just magic.
Yeah.
So, but you definitely have something. I mean, if you want to, uh, because I want to make sure we get to the other questions. I'm not trying to rush it, but it depends on how you feel with each one, and we'll go through it. The main thing is that I want you to feel, if you feel like you have an idea, let's say 80, 90% of what you can say, and you feel we can move on, then let me know and we can move on. But if you feel it needs practice, if you want to give it a shot and do it again, then we can do that. So I know I'm talking a
Yeah.
lot, but at this point, I want to make sure if you want to do 2 or 3 takes, film. If you want to do 2 or 3 tries of it, then we can do that. I want to make sure you feel like you've gotten something, that you've practiced it with someone who's speaking English right now, so I can listen to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over it again actually, and I'm gonna change my answers. Like not change, but I'm gonna rephrase those. And when we meet to next time, we can start with this question again.
Okay, you got it. So, okay, so you want to do it again now, right?
Not exactly right now. When we meet
Oh,
next
okay.
time.
Next time. Okay, I got you. So we're gonna move on. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to your response behind it. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So, why do you want to work at this company? All right. So I'm going to let you
Mm-hmm.
speak. We'll go over some ways in which you can present, and so we'll go one step at a time. So, all right, Krishna, I want to thank you
Yeah.
so. Oh,
Why
go
do I
ahead.
want to work with? Well, for one thing, L'Oreal is core chemical engineering company, and as a professional, I would totally want to work with someone who, uh, with a company like L'Oreal, and I honestly cannot think of a single reason not to work with L'Oreal, and I the values that I have are well aligned with the companies as far as I have learned so far. Values such as gender equality and challenging the status quo and L'Oreal's commitment of 150 million euros to for sustainability and the environment. All these points and these values are definitely well aligned with mine. And it's not just the values in the core company, it's also because L'Oreal produces something that makes other people happy and gives them the confidence of being themselves. So I feel when I'm beautiful or when someone is beautiful, he or she feels uh, to show her true identity and to be herself. I actually had a girlfriend who used to use L'Oreal, some of the L'Oreal products, not all. And I must say that when she puts on the L'Oreal stuff on her, she looks immaculate. And what I like the most what I liked the most actually was a waterproof mascara that was created by L'Oreal, and it's just awesome. So yeah, the core company it gives me the opportunity to develop my professional career. It's a commitment for the environment and gender equality, and making others happy.
All right. Okay, so you did your research. Okay, that was really good. That was really good. Okay, so we can trim a little things up, but what I will tell you, what really impressed me was the va I love the fact that you started throwing out some bullet points about the company, the things that aligned with you. I think that is phenomenal because you're saying my values and your values line up. And let me tell you what those values are. And you're saying the gender equality, the community, the 100 million, how was it called?
150 million euros.
It is euros, and 150. Oh, my bad. 150 million euros. And I love that you're breaking that together. And now you can even piece together your own values. The one thing I really appreciate, so you tell, because the one thing is you say that my values and your values are aligned, and then you'd say these are a couple of things, and I love the fact you knew them right off the bat. And then the questions would be, and we're gonna get to that moment. My question would be, what are your values, so we know how they align up. And so if you use basically, let's say, if you give them three of your values and three of the things that you
Hmm?
appreciate about the company, boom. And then you say, well, let me tell you something else, because what I really appreciated there, I appreciate the fact you're talking about the loyalty, but you also mentioned you had a girlfriend or have a girlfriend that used the products. So you're not only a person who understands the values of the company, which by the way the hiring manager might not even know,
Hmm.
but then also the fact is you're saying, hey, I have a young lady and she used the products, not all of them, which by the way was a great laugh. So that's a little bit of humor there. That was great. Whether that was intentional or not, that was great. Like she didn't use a lot of, she didn't use a lot of it, but she used some of it. And the fact of how you felt, there was beauty, there was beauty behind it. There, and then I love the fact you just kind of like tossed in. You're like, hey, the waterproof mascara. It was like I tested that out, and it really does a great job. So that was almost like a little. I mean, you didn't have to throw it in there, but it's really funny. I mean, I like it because you're like, oh, by the way, I just want to let you know the waterproof mascara is really awesome. And so I was like, I mean, there are some tweaks we can do there. There's definitely tweaks there, but overall, what you have given, that to me is a very impressive for a rough draft that does it. That only needs a minor tweaking, maybe like 15-20%. And that might sound like a lot, but we're just talking about readjusting some things. That to me is more than most will have because you didn't have to think about it. You already knew. You knew about the values and you knew about the product, more than one. And then you
Hmm.
can attest to the fact of how people feel. But I do like the fact the loyal, the happiness that it brings about people and the confidence that it builds about people being themselves with the product. I really like that. So really it comes down to you can, I would almost say, what are your values? What are their values? And then that's how they align. So why I want to work with the company? Because here are my values. Give three, and then here are the values of L'Oreal. Boom. And you're saying, and actually you did use the word, which I really like, by the way. You said align, and I love I like that word. So we align, we come together. So really would be mention what are your three values, because that's what I was
Hmm.
thinking when you gave L'Oreal's. What are your three values? What are three of L'Oreal's? And you can mix those together. And because of that, so let's say if you think about it, what are your three values?
Okay, yeah. Well, I definitely support gender equality, and but it's not just the gender equality that I support. I actually kind of more I'm kind of more I have this tendency to be more favorable towards gender equity rather than just gender equality. That is one. And I definitely care about my environment and the earth. I'm just sometimes I think about it, the way companies are polluting our environment, and it just does not make me feel good at all. I just don't want to leave the dystopian earth to our coming generations. That is the kind of value that I hold, that aligns up with the L'Oreal. And yeah, the third one is the L'Oreal actually believes in in its employees and gives them the chance to bring their ideas and to even lead the projects with those ideas. And that's kind of me, like give them the opportunity. uh, like I have had a few times opportunity to work in a team, and that's just something that I really want. Like give everybody a chance, bring their own ideas, and let them work on it. So that's kind of something that really matters to me.
Okay. So the okay. So we got the
That
gender
was a long
equality.
one.
No, no, no. That's what I need. The more you express yourself and you talk about it, the deeper we go into it, the more you really get a chance to say, okay, these are the things. This is why. That's the more in depth you go, the more you really find out the reason behind it. And once you really start digging deep and find out that reason, then you're like, this is the core of everything. And so it's like a 5-year-old. You keep asking why, you find out that this might have been the reason, but the further down the rabbit hole you go, it turns out that it was basically 10 steps later that you're saying, oh, this really wasn't the case. It was actually something else, but this is what it is, and this is why. So no, no, it being long is that's totally fine. So we have the the gender equality and the the environment, because you did mention that earlier, and then the opportunities for the employees. Okay, so we have and the gender equality is that they allow, it doesn't matter who you are, they allow you, there's no discrimination behind it, that they allow
Yeah.
any race to come. So you're all about people coming together. Okay, and then I think there's an actual word for that. I need to find it. So the other one is um, so I'm not sure the exact word. So pro environment, what have you, and and then about the being able to express yourself and ideas, being heard,
Mm-hmm.
and which yeah, that's a big deal for I think anybody that wants to really. So yes, those are great. And the one thing you could actually do is by explaining your values is that when you explain it and you can say the thing that, and you might be wondering, not you, but if you said it's a hiring manager, it's like, and what's really wonderful about these 3 values that I hold or hold dearly is that these are the same ones that L'Oreal represents. That's also their values. And that's one of the reasons that I appreciate this company, or I really appreciate this company. And so it's almost as if you can basically, without even having to say here's three, you're literally
Mm-hmm.
saying here are my core values. But the great thing about it is L'Oreal also has the same ones, and that's a great thing. So you don't even have to say here's three, here's three. You're literally saying here's my values. Oh, by the way, L'Oreal also has the same ones, and
Yeah.
those are things that I really appreciate about the company. There are other things, but those are things I wanted to stick with. That you want to focus on, and and the one thing is, I would even dive further into it. The loyalty with the happiness of the customers, the confidence, and by being themselves. But I think the other thing you could do if you wanted is between the values and saying I've seen the products at hand with the girlfriend and how it works. So you can either mix in that loyalty, or with the
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend having seen the products and know how they work, because you're saying I haven't tried them, but I know someone who has, and I've seen it at work. So I think there's a great deal that you can definitely add to it. So I mean, it's that's really going to be a nail. That's a solid one. That's really going to, all of them combined it's a really good one. Let's say, Krista. So that you might not see it right now, but it's something special. So all right. So you can take those 3, apply it to
Mm-hmm.
L'Oreal, and if you want to, you can bring in the loyalty or the way that they make customers feel, and where you can say either with the girlfriend and how she felt, you know, watching her, use L'Oreal, what I noticed was the happiness, went to more confidence, and then her being her, let's say, true self. It brought something even more special out of her.
Yeah.
And if she felt this way with L'Oreal, I can only imagine what that does for other people, and how that happiness and that confidence, how L'Oreal is not only spreading happiness to their consumers, but then their consumers are also spreading happiness to other people. And
Yeah.
wait, so you can even hit it on that type of note. It doesn't have to be said that way, but a way that really flows for you. But you see what I'm getting at? It's here are my values, but then here's something else. I have a girlfriend. She used L'Oreal, and the one thing I noticed was she would go in there. She already had confidence, but when she came out, and she used the products. There just seemed to be even just a truer version of herself. And what I appreciate about that is that if L'Oreal, if she feels like that and she already has confidence, I can only imagine what it's like for other people who maybe don't feel as good, but when they have L'Oreal, it just brings out their true self. And they're so
Mm-hmm.
happy that L'Oreal is not only making the consumers feel delightful, but then those consumers are then making other people feel delightful and are sharing happiness, all because of L'Oreal. And that to me is a very special thing. So, it's simple, but you get the idea. So,
Yeah,
um, does that make sense?
definitely.
Okay. So yeah, that one you really didn't need a lot of help on that one. So because you already knew about the product, you already had research in it, and then you actually had someone try the product. So those are two different things within themselves. So it could have been one about research,
Mm-hmm.
and another one could have been, oh, if I tried the product here's one of the things I really appreciate. But you can really combine both of them, and I think that is great. So and that will be, I will say, that will be your choice. You can combine them both, or you can
Mm-hmm.
keep them separate. But know that either way they're strong. But I feel there's almost something a little special about both being together. But that will depend on you and how you feel when you really try it on your own and say, okay, this is how it feels.
Okay, I'm sorry. What two things do we want to combine together?
Oh, if you wanted to combine your three values with L'Oreal and then the
Mm-hmm.
combination of your girlfriend having tried the product and how
Okay.
and the product of the confidence, the happiness that led to the confidence or the confidence that led to the happiness, and then how that would transpire not only to the L'Oreal consumers, but then those consumers making other people around them happy. So, which creates a domino effect.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need to work on that. But definitely we can come on it next time.
Okay, no, that's good, Larry. Let's keep going. I want to make sure we get um and remember if you have any questions, and we can, and I mean, even if you wanted to really break this down, like I said, even the 80, 90% where we can, like, okay, let's actually create a full paragraph or a full story behind it, we can do that. So I know you want to kind of get through as much as we could. So it's all about where so if you feel, like I said, if you ever feel like, Wes, let's slow down,
Mm-hmm.
could we create like the actual story right now? We can do that. But if you feel like, hey, I got it, and let's move on to the next question, then that's what we'll keep doing. I'm just reiterating to make sure, because I don't want you to feel like we have to keep moving to each question. We can make sure it's really developed, and which so that's all I want to make sure of.
Yeah, so what I think is this lesson is more like a draft, like a written draft or a spoken draft. And then I'm gonna work on it again. You take your suggestions, incorporate them in my answers. And when we come maybe next time, I'm gonna come up with a better answer.
Okay, no, that way,
Yeah.
and that's how these normally are. They're like rough drafts, but we try to get a high rough draft. It's like it's a pretty good one, but just needs
Yeah.
a few tweaks.